Manchester United were once the embodiment of English football's soul, playing with flair and passion under legendary managers until American ownership arrived and slowly eroded their DNA. This is the story of the rise and fall of Manchester United.
They're playing with an icon of football, one of the most respected football brands in the world, and it's in danger.
1956. Manchester United have just won back-to-back league titles, but the manner in which they achieved it was extraordinary.
The average age of the side was 22. Achieving this much so quickly surprised even Busby himself.
Sir Matt Busby had a prophecy. If you want football's finest fruit, then you grow your own.
My first idea was to try and build on young boys, young players, and bring them up in the club atmosphere, feeling for the club.
The Busby Babes, they called them. He had a talent for spotting youngsters and the nerve to give them their chance. If they're good enough, they're old enough, he used to say.
And quite a few of them came into our first team at a very, very young age indeed.
When Matt Busby started playing young players, there was a great sympathy, and a great feeling for Manchester United, that this was something daring, playing 16 and 17-year-old players in the First Division. It was unheard of.
It soon became apparent that this bunch of boys was something rather special.
But this was a team in a hurry. Today England, tomorrow the world.
Winning the championship meant that Manchester United had now qualified for the 1957 European Cup.
They'd reached that stage of experience, power, skill, and everything else.
United were chasing greatness on the European stage, but what happened next would shatter the club to its core.
One cold and bitter Thursday in Munich, Germany.
8 great football stalwarts conceded victory.
8 men will never play again who met destruction there.
The flowers of English football, the flowers of Manchester.
23 people were killed in the carnage of Munich, including 8 Manchester United players.
They were on the point of becoming the world's finest club side when it happened.
Duncan Edwards, 21, the talisman, after 2 weeks fighting for his life, had finally succumbed to his injuries.
The feeling at the time was that the Busby Babes were going to win the European Cup, which is why I think the shock was felt throughout the country. A lot of people at the time thought we were finished.
They would say I was finished with football for all time. I was very strong about this at the time. And I always remember again quoting my wife saying, well, I'm sure these lads would want you to carry on. The lads that lost their lives would want you to carry on. And that started a new germ in my mind of thinking.
Busby was looking to the future, and Bobby Charlton was very much a part of his plans. Bobby Charlton survived one of English football's worst disasters.
When the accident happened and I survived it okay, you could say that you couldn't get any luckier than that, really. I felt as though suddenly I had responsibility. There was a great desire, to make sure that the club had to keep going. It couldn't possibly go under.
But Bobby Charlton wasn't alone in his mission to carry United forward.
And in the summer of 1962, Busby signed the man who would become the king of Old Trafford, Denis Law.
He had everything: vision, balance, and that natural eye for goal.
All of a sudden, things started to knit and blend, as we all know, for the next few years.
Denis Law, who scored for United in the 1963 FA Cup final, a 3-1 win against Leicester City.
When you think that the crash was in 58, 5 years later, there Sir Matt was at Wembley to go and win the FA Cup.
Busby joyful, the years rolling back. The rumours that the old man had lost his way had proven to be nonsense.
Law's arrival brought silverware back to Old Trafford. He was the king of the Stretford end.
And Law! There it is by Denis Law!
But destiny had one more gift for United.
Joining Charlton and Law, a youngster from Belfast called George Best.
George was like Edwards. Best didn't need coaching at all. He was an individualist. A pure and out individualist was George Best.
This boy is having to make a great player.
Best. Oh, he's going to get number 5, yes!
The three of them went on to form one of the most devastating combinations English football has ever seen.
As an attacking unit, English football had never seen a combination as powerful or as charismatic.
I used to think sometimes that, you know, if I was a Man United supporter, it must be great going down to Old Trafford just at this particular time. The fans had to go down because they were afraid that they might just miss that one game where George Best was absolutely sensational.
3 of Britain's finest ever footballers in one team. And in 1967 they won the championship for the second time in 3 years.
United rose from the ashes. For Busby, though, the mission wasn't complete.
I still want Manchester United to be the best team in Europe. And the only way they can be the best team in Europe is by winning the European Cup.
We always said that we must win the European Cup because that's what the lads died trying to achieve. And I don't think that we'd ever be satisfied until that happened.
The European Cup was Busby's holy grail, United's public redemption from Munich's despair. 1968 was the last chance.
Sadler, Charlton, a goal! He scored! He has!
He tried to win this with kids, and in the European Cup final in '68, the 4 goal scorers had all come through the academy.
At last, Matt Busby, the maestro of Manchester United, had groomed a team great enough to beat Europe's best. He was king of soccer.
So from being in a position where you lose your team and people are saying the club are finished, and then 10 years after the crash, we become the first English team to win the European Cup.
You know, coming back from a terrible disaster, I happen to think it's the greatest story in British sport.
And when I think about Manchester United, I think about the Busby Babes, I think about Sir Matt Busby, and I think about Best, Law and Charlton as being the most influential figures in the club's history, because they built the Manchester United that we know today in terms of the scale and the size of the club.
There is a statue outside the most prominent side of Old Trafford called the Holy Trinity, and people go and see it and stand by it and have the photo taken by it before every single Manchester United game.
Nobody could match Matt Busby's breadth of vision and single-minded ambition.
There was the immediate sense that this was the end of something momentous.
Sir Matt Busby's legacy could never be replaced until decades later, another man dared to follow in his footsteps.
Alex Ferguson had won 3 Scottish titles with Aberdeen, was now given the job of solving football's greatest riddle.
After 20 years without a league title, Sir Alex Ferguson was now tasked with getting it done.
We haven't won the league for 20 years, right? That is a great challenge for the Manchester United players, and will be until it's achieved.
The priority was to win the championship. This was something that was a holy grail.
And early on, Ferguson proved he understood the DNA of United.
Alex plans everything, and he knows exactly what he's doing, and he is a true professional to his fingertips.
I hope the Manchester United players realise that responsibility, and I'm sure they do. And if they do, then we've a real good chance. If you have anything inside you, you must want to take the chance of playing for Manchester United. That's the great attraction about it.
Fergie didn't disappoint in bringing players that suited the United way.
Mark Hughes, Steve Bruce, Paul Ince, Roy Keane.
There's something inside them that drives them on. It forces them to bring out everything they can put in a game. Steve Bruce was a great example.
Worthington, Bruce, yes! Yes for Manchester United! And Alex Ferguson can't contain himself.
In 1993, Ferguson led United to their first league title since the Busby era.
He wants to win, that's the most important thing.
They needed a success, just the same as I did. The mental attitude, the winning attitude. I followed that route all my life.
Manchester United are the inaugural winners of the FA Premier League.
After that, there was no stopping us.
United had done it. The burning question now was, how do you create sustained success? The secret was already waiting in the wings.
Well, the structure of the club is about young players. We firmly believe and always have that the player we produce is better than the one we buy.
A rejuvenation of the United youth system was to spawn several future stars who would bring the club glory again. Ryan Giggs, who made his debut as a 17-year-old.
And here's Giggs. What balance. What a run. Oh, what a player!
Manchester United
continue to wear the championship crown.
Paul Scholes joined the first team at 19.
Even as a youngster, Paul Scholes had the ability to time a ball sweetly with either foot.
And David Beckham became an England regular at 21.
He only dropped to Beckham! Well, every goal he scores is an absolute beauty.
Alex Ferguson's side are Premier League champions once again.
You'd already seen that youth development worked if you really believed in it and really put your trust in it and had the courage and the bravery to believe in young players, and they had the talent.
And that's where Sir Alex had courage. You think about the players that he got rid of to make way for us. They were some of the best players this club's ever had.
Alex Ferguson is very welcoming of anything to do with the history of Manchester United.
Fergie was courageous. He knew what the club was about, what it stood for, and in 1999 it delivered the ultimate reward.
Giggs gets past Vieira, past Dixon, who comes back at him. It's a wonderful run from Giggs! Sensational goal from Ryan Giggs!
But it wasn't just the class of '92. The captain himself, Roy Keane, was the living embodiment of United's DNA.
He wants to win. That's one thing about Roy. You know, he wants to win games. He doesn't care, about anything else that's going on around him.
He would tell you, no matter who you were, no matter, what reputation you had.
And rarely was there a greater moment of need than the 1999 Champions League semi-final against Juventus in Turin, when Roy produced one of the most inspirational displays.
And towards Keane! Roy Keane with a captain's goal for Manchester United! Call it destiny, call it fate, but Manchester United have reached the European Cup final again.
You never realise it at the time because you're part of it, but you look back in years to come and you'll think what an amazing performance it was by him, especially under the duress of knowing that he was going to miss the final.
Keane's masterclass helped United go one step closer to making history.
Beckham into Sheringham, and Solskjaer has won it!
And as the ball hits the net, for me it was as though the world stood still. I thought, this is what paradise is all about. It's got to be.
Sir Matt Busby created something that no one could possibly imagine could be done. He has made this club. He's made the tradition the standard. He has made the romance. And all I'm trying to do is to live by that. And anyone who does come here has to live by that standard.
Fergie and United were on top of the world, and it seemed like their reign of dominance would never end. But in 2005, the club was under attack.
Manchester United was taken over by the American Glazer family in 2005.
They didn't buy the club with their own money. They borrowed £600 million to buy United in a leveraged buyout, and they loaded that debt onto the club. So the club has been paying off that debt.
Protests greeted their takeover in 2005, and the fan anger persists over the debt.
This was the Glazers' first visit to Manchester United. It's unlikely they'll forget it.
They're playing with an icon of football, one of the most respected football brands in the world, and it's in danger.
Manchester United were in danger, but Ferguson himself was the complete opposite. He kept buying the right players and kept on winning trophies.
He's still hungry, he still want to win, he's still motivated to win trophies, to go to the trainings.
He smashed it into the back of the net. It gets even better for Cristiano Ronaldo.
But his man management was something which a lot of managers would struggle to match him with. He knew every player, he knew the ins and outs of every player.
Now here's Rooney! Oh my goodness me! That is one of the strikes of the season! Absolutely brilliant!
When they interview me, they ask me question, are you going to be ready to not losing any game? Are you going to be ready to play only on the top 7 year? I never lose 2 games in the road. That was the challenge.
And eventually, in 2008, it would lead to something remarkable, as Manchester United claimed their 3rd European Cup.
Well, Manchester United is about the most profitable club in the history of football. They have this massive global brand, they sell shirts around the world, they make a fortune out of TV rights.
They're one of the biggest, most popular clubs in the world. On the surface, everything at Manchester United looks good, but scratch beneath the surface and there's growing unrest and a debt mountain that now stands at more than £700 million.
The £80 million sale of Cristiano Ronaldo to Real Madrid last summer left some asking if that was to get the Reds out of the red.
Our debts are 8 times our yearly profits, and we only made a profit last year because Ronaldo was sold.
So the Glazers are actively working against what Manchester United should be. And this idea that you should profit from football, I think, is a relatively new one.
Unfortunately for United fans, things were only going to get worse.
And he's achieved what he set out to do, knock Liverpool off their perch. Liverpool led United by 18 titles to 7. Remarkably, they've now been overtaken.
Sir Alex Ferguson bows out after more than 26 years in charge at Manchester United.
But we're now retired, things do change. There's nothing you can do about that.
The man chosen to replace Ferguson was no big name, no proven winner.
Jose was going back to Chelsea, Carlo Ancelotti was going to Real Madrid, Jurgen Klopp has signed a contract at Dortmund. I think we chose a good football man, did a great job at Everton, 11 years there. We picked the right man. Unfortunately, it didn't work for David.
When I lost the first 2 signings, or didn't get them in the end, it made, really my start was terrible because the window wasn't good enough.
He was dead, coming after Ferguson. He wasn't coming.
David Moyes survived less than a year. Many blame Sir Alex for appointing his friend.
There's this continual thing about we left an old team and all that nonsense. We wonder we built 11 points.
With no major trophy under his belt, it was clear the appointment of Moyes wasn't the right one for United. They needed a proven winner, perhaps someone like Louis van Gaal.
Louis van Gaal's managed the biggest clubs in Europe. He's managed at Barcelona, Ajax, Bayern Munich, so he knows what it takes to manage a club like Manchester United.
But once again, this appointment was not the right one. This time, for totally different reasons.
To be honest, the way that he wants to play football now, I wouldn't say just in the Premier League, I'd say in Europe is obsolete. It's too... Possession doesn't matter anymore. It's about attacking the space quickly.
I think it's the worst I've ever seen United play. I think it's worse than the Moyes era, the style of play. He's so stubborn, he's never going to change it.
The misery continued to pile on for United fans. But if there was a silver lining, it was that United didn't abandon their tradition. Academy players like Marcus Rashford continued to be given opportunities.
Yeah, this kid is special and he's definitely the future.
For Van Gaal, though, the writing was on the wall, and he was sacked after just 2 seasons.
It is still a commercial club. It's not a football club, I think. I have said that before, and that's always difficult. When not the manager is deciding which player has to come, is very difficult.
Ed Woodward is quite clearly a financial man. I don't think he's a football man.
With the Glazers in charge, nothing was going to change anytime soon, even with an elite manager.
Now, after months of speculation, Jose Mourinho has reportedly signed a deal to become Manchester United's new boss.
With no league title for 3 seasons, Mourinho was trusted to deliver glory again. But ultimately, this appointment proved one thing, that the root problem of the club will always remain.
If I tell you, for example, that I consider one of the best jobs of my career to finish second with Manchester United in the Premier League, you say this guy is crazy. He won 25 titles because people doesn't know what is going behind the scenes.
David Moyes couldn't sort out the group. Louis van Gaal couldn't sort out the group. Now Jose Mourinho, who's the most successful manager of the last 15 years along with Pep Guardiola, can't sort out the group. I'm not as quick to sit here and say it's the coaching staff's fault. There is a problem structurally, I think, at the club that means it will be difficult for any coach.
Breaking news, Manchester United have sacked Jose Mourinho. He was appointed in 2016.
Ed Woodward's job is to deliver profits off the pitch and profits on the pitch. There is no doubt he should put a footballing structure underneath him that is extremely serious.
Some player, they come to United, the only reason because of the money. I'm not afraid to say that. The deal of Sanchez, that's when I say the Man United history just go down.
United's DNA was fading, so at this point they turned to a familiar face.
It's official now, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is Manchester United manager.
After having played here myself, I know how big a goal and how big that can be.
United now had one of their own to steady the ship, and early on, Ole brought joy back to the fans.
How's your bottle? Oh, he smashed it in! United heading through to the quarter-finals.
And he's not afraid to play youngsters. That's what Manchester United have been bred on. You know, you go all the way back to the Busby Babes.
And the right signing is now obvious. Players who are hungry, players who have got age in them, players who have got years to come, who've got the potential still to reach.
A second-place finish under Ole showed progress, but instead of backing their manager, the club did what they always do.
Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has become the latest manager to not be backed by United's owners with the signings that we need to elevate this club to the next level.
And this is his dream job. He's always said it. Now the reality is turning into a nightmare because the Glazers and Woodward are using him to manipulate the fan base.
And the clarity is that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has left his role as Manchester United manager. Look,
We are rest in peace, mate. We are falling, mate. We are falling, mate. That club, mate, is gone.
You don't even need glasses to analyze and to see where the problems are. So now it's only about how do we solve them.
Erik ten Hag has been announced as the new first-team manager of Manchester United.
This club has a great history, and now, let's make a future.
Another manager, another plaster on United's wounds. And while Ten Hag did deliver silverware, ultimately United were nowhere near good enough to win the league.
The embedded failure over a 10-year period and where the club are currently at has to come back to the ownership.
United seemed trapped in an endless cycle of managers. But eventually, a moment arrived with potential to change United's future forever.
Enter Sir Jim Ratcliffe with a fortune made in petrochemicals as Ineos founder, buying a quarter of United, with Ineos gaining control of football operations.
And the Glazer family are giving away control of football operations, which in my mind is an admission of failure. They're basically saying, since Sir Alex Ferguson left, we haven't done the business on the pitch.
A win-win for the Glazer family. If you come and take over the football department and do well, the value of the club rises for them. And if you come in and do badly, then you've just taken the heat off the Glazer family. So I'm still struggling to understand how this is fixed.
Ineos believed they could turn the fortunes around for United on the pitch, but ultimately, they would get their first big decision totally wrong.
Erik ten Hag is to stay at the club.
Despite a shambolic 8th place finish in 2024, Ineos decided not to sack Ten Hag, a decision which would prove to be completely wrong.
But 10 games into this Premier League season, this is Manchester United's worst start with 12 points.
The great Manchester United were a far cry from what they used to be. They won countless major trophies, playing attacking football, with players who would die for the badge. United's last remaining identity was their tradition of trusting youth. Yet even that would come under threat with the manager who followed.
Manchester United have confirmed the appointment of head coach Ruben Amorim.
The first thing that every one of the people that I spoke to said, the charisma that this guy has is exactly what you'd expect of a Man United manager.
He's got a bit of Mourinho about him, he's got a bit of swagger, he likes himself and he backs it up.
And when he took over, they hadn't won a league title in 19 years, he's won 2 titles.
But he is an up-and-coming rising star as a coach. He's 39 years old. He's won back-to-back titles with Sporting. They're unbeaten this season at the top of the league.
He's an impressive manager. What he's done in the Portuguese league has been nothing short of remarkable with Sporting Lisbon's budget.
Amorim comes in with a slightly different system, which I think is quite interesting and intriguing, and the fact that he plays maybe a 3-4-3 system is different.
The move to a 3-4-3 or a 3-4-2-1 with wing-backs might take a little bit of time to get used to.
And these Manchester United fans now are going to have to back him, get behind him, be patient in moments in this season.
And this Manchester United, it doesn't matter the last years. You feel the weight of the history, and you want to be part of that. You know, you feel that if you win here, it will be different.
It's going to be vital between now and the end of the season to try and make Manchester United competitive and see if we've got a chance for Europe or an outside chance for the top 4 maybe.
We've been here before with Manchester United. It's a new manager, it's the start of a new era, the optimism is there.
Ipswich Town 1, Manchester United 1.
An average Premier League team. Average. There's so many teams way ahead of them. And that's got to come down to your DNA. These players haven't got the DNA, a lot of them, of a Man United player.
He needs to have that time, and he needs to go, this is how I want us to be, because nobody knows what Manchester United are anymore at the moment.
We are going to suffer for a long period, and we will try to win games. This will take time.
So it finishes Nottingham Forest 3, Manchester United 2.
You feel it when you lose one game, it's really hard for everybody.
And our new manager has taken 4 points from 12, and our next game is Man City.
There's no patience at United simply because of the size of the fan base, the global draw of United.
You are under the spotlight more than any other club in England.
Becoming the manager of Manchester United is a mammoth task. I just want to go to each game and try to win it.
It's in! It's brilliant! It's Manchester United!
Which makes Ruben Amorim the first Manchester United coach to win their first derby since Sir Alex Ferguson.
They did win, Gary, didn't they?
They did. They did. Oh my gosh.
We know we've got to improve, we know we've got to do more to climb that table, and I still believe that we should be fighting for the European places this season.
United may have won on the pitch, but off it, there were more problems emerging.
Early ahead of the Manchester derby, the big talking point was, of course, Marcus Rashford being dropped from the squad, we've heard.
And I think this is a really, really big deal.
Yeah.
Takes giant cojones.
He's pretty much always been a story during his Manchester United career, ever since he burst onto the scene quite literally under Louis van Gaal back in 2015. But there has been a few negative off-the-field incidents. Earlier this year, he was pictured on a night out in Belfast in the build-up to an FA Cup game.
That was not the first time, bro. He's been doing this.
Rashford was in attendance at Madison Square Garden in New York on Monday night following an NBA match between the New York Knicks and the Brooklyn Nets.
You've had Erik ten Hag also leave him at the starting lineup at Wolves for being late for a team meeting.
We talk about talent, we talk about great players, but the great players work hard.
But you can't live by talent alone.
If you don't give your all in your job, you're gone.
Pretty sad though, a local boy in Rashford who was supposed to be the talisman for this team, to see the way his career sort of materialised over the last couple of years.
You got to remember that when this kid came onto the scene, he was an absolute breath of fresh air. He was a joke.
So we just need to perform at the highest level, and that is my focus. I just want to help Marcus.
So Rashford has been left out of United's last 3 games and also gave an interview suggesting that he wanted a new challenge away from the club.
But I think it's sad that it's ended in this way for him.
Manchester United in 14th place. They are closer to the relegation zone in terms of points than they are to the top 7.
Since Amorim took over, United have actually got worse.
Yeah, I'm shocked how poor he's been.
Unfortunately, Rashford wouldn't be the only academy graduate to come under fire.
Ruben Amorim has effectively called an emergency meeting and has told the members of staff and players, I am staying.
Despite leading the club to their worst ever Premier League campaign, Ineos trusted Ruben Amorim to turn it around, and his next decisions stunned everyone.
Alejandro Garnacho is going to become a Chelsea player. He's leaving Manchester United.
Alejandro Garnacho has fallen out with you at the end of last season because you didn't pick him for the Europa League final, and you're going to sell him on the cheap to Chelsea.
Kobbie Mainoo could look to leave Man United in the last week of the transfer window if a suitable offer comes in.
He's come through the academy, it's part of the DNA. He wants to leave because you won't play him because of your system.
Someone who is really part of the fabric of the football club, and you look at Manchester United's history, their DNA is on recruiting players from that academy.
Now, the question Manchester United hierarchy needs to be asking this morning, 29 games in the Premier League, 28 points. Have we given the keys to the kingdom to the right guy?
This club has lost its soul. This club has lost everything about it. We've got a manager that has no clue. It plays a football that is just so anti-Manchester United.
Now it's a bit difficult for me to face the new reality that a draw is good enough.
The meaning of Manchester United is winning with enjoyment. I think it's what all fans of Manchester United expect.
They can say what they want about Barcelona, Real Madrid. Nothing will ever compare with the history of Manchester United.
It's a special club, that's for sure.
After all, this is Manchester United. What I wish for Manchester is
what I wish for me. The best they can make, again, the best team they can. And I love that club.
Victory Man United!